Hey YouTube, I'm back with another deck profile video. This one's going to be on my non-Silverthorn Pale Moon deck. So Pale Moon is a clan that I always thought was cool. I like the concept, the playstyle, where it revolves around the soul, but it's not unlike Genesis and Dark Irregulars, which are all about just getting a large soul. Dark Irregulars get a large soul so they can activate continuous effects or auto effects from having a large soul. And then Genesis by using the large soul to pay for their effects in Soul Blasts. But Pale Moon is more, they use it more conservatively. They use the soul to basically build up their field and apply pressure to the opponent, and even in some cases get multiple attacks in, more than just the regular 3 attacks. So I think that's pretty interesting. I've always liked them for that reason. So I kind of kept up with the different Pale Moon variants, not just the Silverthorn one. So this one's going to be the regular, more standardized one, or I guess even I can go so far as to call it the budget-friendly one. So start off here. I still kept with the 4 Nightmare Doll Chelsea. So Nightmare Doll Chelsea is a Persona Blast Vanguard for Pale Moon that came out back in set 12 when Silverthorns first came out. So it was underlooked. But it's kind of like Spectral Duke or Raging Form in the sense that it's Persona. Well, Spectral Duke is not Persona, but just forget I said that. So it's kind of like Raging Form, where at the end of the battle that attacked, you can pay the cost, and then it allows you to get either a whole new extra column attack in that turn, or 2 more attacks. Like if you call 2 grade 2s to the field, or even a grade 3 and a grade 2, because that can happen quite often. So Nightmare Doll Chelsea, I went with her, stuck with her because I like that her effect activates at the end of the battle that she attacked. It's not an activate effect. So the alternative to her would be the new Nightmare Doll Carroll that came out in set 15. I think this is the one that Bushiroad wanted people to ride or use in the budget build. The only thing about her, she has less counterblast. So if counterblast 1 and choose 2 Pale Moon, put them into the soul, then choose 2 Pale Moon from the soul, call them out, separate R. The difference is that this is a main phase effect. That's the battle phase effect. I prefer the battle phase effect because it works better with the break ride than this one. This one would work like if you were running Nightmare Doll Alice, or even like the really old school Pale Moon cards. So it's not a terrible card, but it's just one that doesn't fit too well with the break ride. And since we're kind of at the end of the break ride format, I stuck with the break ride. So for Miracle Pop Eva, so Eva is a pretty decent break ride. Same effect as Chelsea in the sense that when you ride it, Limit Break gets 10,000 to Vanguard, and then you get to choose, when the unit attacks, you get to choose 2 Pale Moon Rear Guards, put them into Soul. So it's, with this combo right here, on the turn that you're able to actually do the Persona Blast, this combo really, it's kind of like Beast Deities in a sense, or Nova Grapplers, in that you're going to get like 6 attacks off that turn. Or 4 to 5, basically 4 to 5 attacks, maybe a 6 attack, depending on how you call up the columns, what you're able to call out. So that's the grade 3s. For grade 2s, for Crimson Beast Tamer, this card, back before Silverthorns, this card was like one of the ones that made the deck expensive. But now people don't really care too much about it, so it's not that hard to get. If you don't have this, you can always just get like Nitro Juggler or the 10k Vanilla, or any sort of standard card that can deal out decent damage to the opponent, or hit certain numbers. So next, 3 Misdirection. So this is an interesting card that they got in set 15 that I thought of trying to figure out how to make this card work. So again, it works pretty well with the Break Ride and Nightmare Doll Chelsea, because you can call. This is what can allow you to get to that 6 attack that I was talking about. So basically, when another Pale Moon is called from the soul, if this is in the soul, you can call this also out from the soul. So like, let's say you can call a grade 1 from the soul, you can call that out, then Misdirection can come out also. And then if it's Purple Trapezist, then you can just, go off from there. So 3 Misdirection. And then one of the key cards I think that they need to use effectively in order to hit high numbers, because they don't really have a 12k attacker. And the 10k, they can run the 10k, but the 10k, in my opinion, like since I'm trying Misdirection out to get more attacks off, making it more like a Nova Grappler Aqua Force deck. I went with Jumping Jill. So Jumping Jill, when she's called out from the soul, she's basically 12k. So she's kind of their 12k attacker. And then the last grade 2 is one Dancing Princess of the Night Sky. This is just a tech card that I threw in just to allow them, since the deck doesn't counterblast too much, with the exception of Nightmare Doll Chelsea. I have the extra counterblast one when it's placed on VRR. And then you can search a Pale Moon from the deck and put it into the soul, grade 2 or less. So it helps set up the soul, and when it's called from the soul, its effect can chain again. So just one of them is enough. For grade 1s, 4 Hades Hypnotist, so the original Pale Moon Perfect Guard. 4 Turquoise Beast Tamer, this one's the SP one. So this is your 9k booster, assuming you get Crimson Beast Tamer in the soul. And Crimson Beast Tamer being the soul is pretty easy to do, since we are running 4 Purple Trapezist. So if you draw into Crimson Beast Tamer, it's not a big deal. You can just put it in the soul with Purple Trapezist to set up, and then you can call out like Jumping Jill or whatever else you have in there, or whatever you rode on like turn 2. So there's just a lot of stuff you can pull off that's pretty crazy. And then with Tamer, Crimson in the soul, this is a 9k booster or a 9k attacker. So that's pretty good. And the reason why I kind of have to run those is because with that, then this is an 11k, this is a 9k, so that's a pretty good column right there. And then that's how we get around running all these weak 8k, well, not Jumping Jill, but like we have all these 8k grade 2s. So that being a 9k booster helps a lot. Still doesn't really help against cross rides, although Tamer and Jumping Jill with this behind either one of them is your answer to cross rides. So it still works out in the end. And then the last tech card I'm trying out is a new card they got, Brassie Bunny. So this card has the same effect as Misdirection, and because they're kind of like free cards that come out of the soul, I can see how Bushiroad balanced them by giving them weak stats. Like this is only a 6k booster, this is only an 8k attacker. So, but it's still two of this is good, just to see. I mean, it allows you to gain extra field advantage, like if you're up against Carroll or someone who likes to blow up the field a lot. For grade 0s, it's same standard lineup as before. So 4 draw trigger, 8 critical trigger, and 4 heal trigger. So that's pretty standard. There isn't really any drawbacks to running that trigger lineup, and you don't really need stands in a deck like this because you're already with the Break Ride and the main Vanguard, and with all the soul manipulation, you're going to get a lot of attacks off. So stands aren't really necessary. And the starter I'm running is I still kept Girl Who Crossed the Gap. So the starter they got way back in BT7, and I never really had any reason to change it. Yes, you can run the generic grade 3 searcher, although I found this to be a little bit more useful in the sense that you can manipulate, it just gives you more soul manipulation. So I just stuck with that. So that was basically the deck. Let me know what you think of the non-Silverthorn Pale Moons, how viable they are. I think the problem with them is obviously they have to have a good soul setup, so if they don't get a good soul setup, they're probably going to lose that game. But anyway, let me know what you think. What would you change for the grade 2s or grade 1s, or even the Vanguard lineup? So as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.